Good morning. Good morning. So, last day, wisdom of joy. I thought I might get started by just reading this reading from Hafiz that we started out with. Hi, Zoomers too. Tripping over joy. What is the difference between our experience of existence and that of a saint? The saint knows that the spiritual path is a sublime chess game with God, and that the beloved has just made such a fantastic move that the saint is now continually tripping over joy and bursting out in laughter and saying, "I surrender." Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid we still think we have 1,000 serious moves. I surrender. I hope we can go home with that and have it deepen and deepen and deepen. I mean, it's a continual unfolding because the moments are continually unfolding. The immediacy is continually here. I was very moved how Ani brought the attention back to the heart yesterday afternoon. And the emphasis on kindness, loving kindness. You know, in this experience, the most benevolent, kind, loving gesture that the me ever did was to surrender. Surrender that seed of unlovability, not good enough, unworthy, separate identity. That's kindness at its core. That's the most it can ever do, really. The kindest that it could ever be is to surrender. And really it surrenders at the level of what we would call death, because at that moment of that laying down, giving way, in a simple, sort of humble, genuinely kind way, it's the end of that particular position, that particular idea of a separate someone, an experiencer having an experience. It's the end of that. So this pointing out from Hafiz that the joy is very much inherent to the I surrender. Prior to the moment of that, and maybe even it's kind of inconceivable and beyond understanding through the intellect that what uncaused, unconditioned joy could even be. Because we're so used to conditional experience. We're so used to it being dependent dependent on cause, something causing the joy, something causing the happiness, causing the love. It just isn't within the realm of cause and effect to be able to perceive or understand the beyond cause and effect, the arising inherent qualities of uncaused, unconditioned joy and love. That we are. And it goes so far beyond these ideas of good and bad. I mean, it's beyond. It's not of that realm, that dimension, where the ideas of unforgivability. I'm somehow so eternally flawed that I can never be enough. Enough for whatever it is. Enough for the people in my life, enough for my life itself, enough for God, enough for whatever that is. You see, we all see that that's the seed of separation. It's me and this flawed, sort of mistaken, unlovable, whatever the alone, the seed of it is in our particularity. It kind of boils down to it, that somehow an unworthiness that is taken on an identity as a separateness. So loving kindness is surrender. It's surrender of that. It's surrender of these most deeply held identities. I mean, yeah, I think. So even there can be phases of that surrender, of that emptying, of that giving way, laying down, that do feel empty of everything we have set our compass to as a good person, our personal love, our lovingness. I am a lover of whatever it is. I am a whatever it is, fill in the blank. Healer, carer, devotee, seeker, the deep ones that you can't imagine that that's what you're going to be letting go of. Love? Surrender? You know, I mean, it seems like we have a belief, a deep one, that quality would be, because we hear, you know, that's the inherent quality of the ground of being, source, God, whatever we call it. But our sense of that, when it's limited to a personal self, a personal identity, it's not the same thing as uncaused lovingness that is dancing existence into being every holy instant. So if our compass is set to the qualities that we have cultivated necessarily as a good person, it's not a bad thing. It's not like that. It's a development a natural, like we would go from 9 to 49. It's development. But there comes a time, and the reason I'm bringing it forward is because some people have spoken to me about, this emptiness that does not seem to have any of the same fullness that we're used to as a personal self. The fullness of personal love, the fullness of personal joy, the fullness of... I don't know if I'm making myself very clear. I think it's good to speak about it because there's people who are starting to experience it. The empty center that Sharon has been teaching all of us and guiding all of us, the unfolding of that. The unfolding of that includes the deepest surrender, the most lovingly kind surrender we can possibly, it's the big giving way, down to the seeds of and the roots of our deepest identity, even the ones that we have cultivated that have improved our life. It's odd that way. It's kind of startling. It was startling here. I very fortunately had my dear friend Sharon to call. I know just where you're at. I think you've probably picked up on it. I'm somewhat dramatic in language, and so, I called it bone and ash. Ash and bone emptiness. And it was so startling after the total bliss of universality, realized universal oneness, to go from that to just the death of everything, including love. Woo. That it's cutting the deepest roots of separateness and returning all of it to the luminous ground that is inherently expressing as uncaused love. But it can feel very, there's no personal will there. There's no personal love there. There's no personal joy there. It's like, what is this? It's intelligent and wise and it's unfolding through this rhythm of, and I was talking to Kempo Lobsang about this, through this rhythm of emptying, filling, emptying, filling, emptying, filling. And I said, so as that's happening and these deep seeds of unworthiness are or however unlovability, not good enough, whatever your flavor is, are coming into consciousness, what's the key? And he said, relax. 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 It's what we talked about at the beginning of retreat with Ajya's pointer as well, right? This is the visual of that relaxation. It's a relaxing, it's less than relaxing because there's less doing to it, but that's the closest I think we can get. It's like the out-breath. It's a natural being as is. Just being as is. Bringing all of the practice that we have to bear upon what we're experiencing and being able to sit in and as uncomfortableness. It's not all comfortable. And the nervous system will heroically try to run from the tiger because that's wired in. So we kind of have to remind ourselves. A teacher gave me a mantra a long, long time ago when I was trying to thread my way through a dear person in my life had killed himself. And it was just, well, anyway, it was a deep contemplation, and the nervous system was so fired up, like run, run, run. And he said, it's fear, name it, fear, no danger. Fear, no danger. That helped so much in the rewiring of that brainstem limbic system that's running from the tigers. Fear, no danger. I think, at least here, and with a lot of people that I've worked with, the subtle, very primal, it's existential, it's primal, it's actually before language, grabbing that can occur in this unfolding as it becomes deeper and deeper and emptier, often is precipitated through the nervous system. You know, I mean, there is a signal, a chemical, physiological, biochemical signal sent out in the physiology that brings on a visceral, like, sense of danger and needing to run. That is, if we can watch and remain, it's precipitated by that just subtle, I'm uncomfortable, I gotta find some ground here. I gotta find something to stand on, a thought that will describe this in a way that is understandable to the intellect. But the part of the kindness of surrender, that loving kindness that we are calling surrender, is a giving of the mind to the heart or to the ground. To the heart for redemption, to the ground for dissolution. We have to give it away. We have to give it away. It will come back in service with fresh and innovative and, the intellect isn't all bad. Look at the shrine room. The engineering, the invention, the fresh and informed from the ground intellect is a powerful tool in creation. So it's not an enemy. It's the narrating, describing, judging world of, that whole world that exists in thoughts that doesn't do us, doesn't serve. Give it away. Surrender to the heart, to the ground, to I don't know. I don't know. Dr. Hawkins used to say, and it doesn't sit well with, I've learned, it doesn't sit well with young women in particular, because it's the word Lord, but he would say, "This too I surrender to thee, O Lord. This too I surrender to thee, O Lord. This too I surrender. This too I surrender. This too I surrender." Fill in your name for source, whatever you want to say. This too I surrender. I mean, you get up here and you don't want to sound too dramatic, but you also don't want to deny the direct experience, because that's, in this lineage, that's kind of like the only instruction is teach from your direct experience. What comes to mind here right now as I'm speaking is, lo, though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear not. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Staff being, like Sharon always does, that living edge of surrender, that razor's edge where you don't go anywhere. You don't go anywhere. You don't go anywhere. You don't go anywhere. You don't reference up. You don't make a reference. You just, here I am. I am here. That unfolding, that blossoming of the emptiness. I mean, it's so beautiful. There's a quote by Trungpa Rinpoche that I just love. I read it all the time, and I won't be able to quote it, but, it speaks to how surprising it is that when you look to the center, to the heart of being, it's empty. But it's not empty in the way of like a void. It's empty in the way of uncaused compassion, tenderness, poignant paradox. It's like, it's a capacity, really, that we're not used to when we, even if we are a very full-hearted human being, giving, so many of us, that's how it begins, because we are genuinely people who feel the world. But that, it has its limitations. It's limited from the point of view of the empty heart that is full of the ground. It's informed as that luminous, indescribable, immovable ness. Immovability, immovableness, luminous, the ground. Because it knows itself, see? It doesn't, it isn't a this and that there. So the capacity is natural. It's a natural condition of that living itself and seeing itself and loving itself into existence just from total pure joy. There's no other reason that it would be existing. It's not like it needs anything. So yeah, surrender is a profound, and however, I've had people have issues with the word surrender. Relinquish, give way, I don't know. It's a profound act of kindness. It's the kind of kindness, I hope this is going to be okay to say, but it's the same kind of kindness as the young boy offering his body to the tiger. It is that. It's the laying down of your life, what we think is our life, what we think of it as. We think of it as this is my life. These are my qualities and my, I have something. My things I have to give. That's a leap of faith, as Ani was talking about. I loved that passage. It's a very defining moment, a pivotal moment, a leap of faith to stand naked of all of that, of having, of the qualities I have to give, just all of that. It comes back, see, as an enjoyment, empty of personal having, owning, needing, wanting, all that stuff. And then it's expressed as the same kind of beauty as a lily, a rose, an eggplant, whatever. It's the Connie, the Alex, dancing hands. It's the expression of that in its purity, and it's enjoyed. It's enjoyed. Somebody asked me one time in satsang, so do you have any beliefs and opinions? And very instantaneously, the response was, there's belief and there's opinion, but none of it believed. It expresses. Aja had that story he always used to tell at retreat where, enlightenment isn't like you go into the ice cream store and say, yeah, man, just throw anything on a cone. I'm enlightened. No, I like chocolate. This expression likes chocolate. The mind thinks, here's the words, giving it all away and you'll have nothing, and it's, as Ani's been saying, it's the moving from, I guess is the Tibetan ways to say, moving from one world to a different world, just a totally different world. People around you don't know anything's happened. You look exactly the same, you act exactly the same. That's a trip. Totally different world. In that quote of Trungpa's, he says that it's what's going to heal the world. And Adya says the same thing at the end of The Way of Liberation. It's the salvation of the whole. He uses the word salvation, which is, I've just contemplated that deeply for many years. So we can, and it's not bad, it's developmental, it's a good thing at certain stages to have these noble ideas that inform noble actions about, doing our best to save the world, to care for the world, to be in the world in as benign of a way as we can, in a loving way as we can. But these masters are pointing the way to give all that up, surrender all of that, and stand naked in the unknown, as the unknown. The salvation of the whole, the healing of the world. Because then there are avenues for pure, luminous ground to express as that, rather than through the formation of belief and the conditions of belief. There are actual avenues for that. Thy will be done. So the saints are tripping over joy and bursting out in laughter as they say, I surrender. I surrender. Whereas our belief in separation and egoic process, the process of that reinventing itself through belief, thought, belief, emotion, thought, belief, emotion, thought, belief, emotion, thinks it has 1,000 serious moves. It's really amazing, in a way that is kind of dumbfounding and just, you're on your knees to it, that this is unfolding, that we're talking about this. People in the Sangha are beginning to unfold and move from and as. We're baby stepping. We're just learning how to walk. But it's really like, wow. Wow. We've read about it, we've talked about it, we've, whatever, hoped and dreamed for it, since I was this big. We listened to the Beatles. Love, love, love. That's all we need. The whole thing. And it's dawning. It's dawning. That's really something to be consciously aware of. That's wow. inexpressible sort of gratitude and joy just from that, you know?
Hello, everyone. Ani and Jen just asked me to speak a few words on Dana, donation, as we are approaching the end of our retreat. And I thought it'd be great to start off with speaking about the tradition within the context of Buddhism. Back in the day, and in many Asian countries, the monastery and the community of lay practitioners, there is an interdependent relationship in which the monastic community would be supporting the lay community through teachings and through their devotion for their practice. And the lay people would be supporting the monastery through their resources. And so the well-being of each was depended on the other. So that's very beautiful. And of course, today we have the beautiful Jennifer and Ani, our precious teachers. I have the honor of seeing a lot of what goes behind the scenes, the amount of love and care, devotion and commitment and sacrifice that each of you make to putting something like this on, thinking about others and how the best way to serve the people that come. And it's really beautiful. Not to mention the decades of experience also that makes all of this possible today. So thank you. And a short note on the retreat fee.
Stacy is, I think, she's saying that they can't hear you.
Sorry, Zoom people.
It's okay.
There'll be a recording later. And so a short note on the retreat fee. The retreat fee for this retreat is intended to go towards lodging, utilities, and for the maintenance of the center. And there wasn't a teacher's fee included in the retreat fee, but that will be the money and the donations that come from y'all will go towards Jennifer and Ani. And so this is an opportunity to kind of express gratitude and thanks and to care for these precious jewels. In Tibetan Buddhism, the teachers are considered precious jewels. Authentic teachers are considered precious jewels because of their ability to transmit and to share these precious teachings. So in the spirit of our tradition, we'll do a kata ceremony at the end of this retreat. And we'll give a demonstration. Basically, a kata is a scarf where you offer it to the teacher offers it back.
He taught me in the Ani's suite with a dish towel last night.
Some practice.
I think I got it.
And then when you offer the kata, and of course we'll do a demonstration later, you can also offer a gift. And of course, everyone has their own capacity to give, and whatever from the heart that you give is appreciated. And will go towards Jennifer and Ani's livelihood and their continued activity in their service. And also, just one last thing to say is, in our tradition, it's known as Mahayana Buddhism, or Vajrayana, but Mahayana is a core part of it, in which we bring into our minds all of the beings, all sentient beings, in whatever that we do. And so when we offer the gift, it's not just localized here, but may this gift, may this act of generosity also be a light for the benefit of all beings. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Alex? Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Ani has her website, anilodroretreats.com, where there's a donation button.
And it's fullcirclefamily.us. It's on the front page. Venmo, PayPal, check my mail, whatever.
Yep. And you can, when you give a gift, you can give it individually or together, whatever is good. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Paul? Oh, that would be welcome as well. And we can put out some envelopes for the kitchen. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Sharon?
Will there be a kanta coming from Jennifer and kanta coming, and then we put the money towards that, or do we put it together and you split it, or?
Either way is good. We'll have a basket of katas that people can, scarves that people can take, and we'll do a demonstration, and the envelopes can go to individuals or together, and if it comes together, then we'll just split it. Yeah. Yeah, you can write down Jennifer Tyler, Anya Lodro, or both. That would be wonderful. Yeah, thank you, Dancing Hands. Yeah. Yep. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. Okay, back to you, Jennifer.
I thought we might do a guided meditation. Yeah, Jeanette? What's that? Yeah. If you want to be in charge of that, that'd be great. Okay. Great.
Just want to, of course, thank everyone for being here. We will have an afternoon session. We are going to do the 1:30 silent sitting for anyone that wants to do that today. And we're going to end the afternoon session just a little bit early because some people are traveling, and will be on the road for hours, and we want to make sure that they get home in daylight. Also, the gift shop, I'm going to open that at noon. So a couple of people asked about that, so that will be open from like noon to 1 or 1:30, anyone that wants to come in. And then to also mention that, I think we mentioned it already, but just to clarify, we have recorded everything, even the Kempo's practice in the morning. And I know a lot of us were here this morning, and it was stunning. Yeah. So all of these recordings will be available. We'll be working on them to just edit them and put them on the websites. If anyone just wants the raw recordings, just email us at vajravidyacrestone@gmail.com. Some people would rather have it for their own phones than go to YouTube, and that's fine. And we'll let everybody know what we've posted. And we just need a little time to work on that. So we'll be working on that this week. And the questions and answers from this morning's Kempo talk will be given out in clips. Okay, and then for post-retreat integration and support, anyone wanting to reach out to Jennifer or myself, we can do that through the websites for one-on-one sessions or just to touch in if anything comes up, anything we want to talk about, any support. We will also be doing Zoom. Karma Chuang and I host a Wednesday night Zoom at 6 o'clock. We do ours. Yeah. And Jen, when is yours?
It's one Tuesday a month we have satsang, and I don't know, it varies, but the dates are on the website.
Okay.
So we have a summer satsang series, so I'll be doing satsangs the next at least 3 months in a row.
Okay.
But I don't know the dates.
Okay. So anyone that wants to, of course, the Zoom is available for everyone. Anyone can come in. It's beautiful time for us to just connect once a week. And then
There is a full circle retreat at the end of this month that is on Zoom. We're doing a Zoom option for May 30th through June 5th. And there's an event in June on solstice, sacred summer solstice event that will also be on Zoom. Or you could come enjoy the Wallowa Mountains in beautiful Joseph, Oregon, if you're in the mood for that.
Wonderful. Also, Sharon will be doing a retreat in Parker the last weekend in July. For anyone that's interested in that, you can go to Sharon's website, sharon-landreth.com. And then a couple people have asked us if we could start Zooming the morning 9 a.m. public practices. We are working on that. We're not quite ready. We have a pretty lean staff here. So we are working on seeing if we are going to be able to do that. And we will, I know a lot of people would love to just be able to Zoom in a few mornings a week just to be part of the practice for those that physically can't be here. So we will let people know once we're ready to do that. But it is kind of in the works. Okay.
And if anybody wants to meditate in a couple mornings a week, there is a Full Circle Family meditation on Monday mornings at 6:30 Pacific time and Friday mornings. It's a meditation that's been happening, a devotion for the last 2 years based on the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh and peacefulness. So it's kind of like a world peace through the peacefulness that actually is and arises naturally, and a devotion to that, Mondays and Fridays. It's a little bit later for you guys because, it's a 6:30, but I don't know, 7:30 isn't too late maybe to meditate.
And then finally, I just wanted to I think most people know about this, but our Sakadawa event is May 22nd and 23rd. So it's the afternoon of May 22nd and the morning of May 23rd. And it's going to be here. And it's our 1-year anniversary for Rinpoche's parinirvana, his transition time. So that is why Khenpo Jigme is in Nepal, because it's a very big event there. And Khenpo Labsang is going to be leading the event here. And everyone's invited. It's free. We're going to be providing food, so everyone is welcome. We're also going to Zoom it.
When is that?
It's the afternoon of May 22nd on the morning of May 23rd. And we're going to Zoom it, so anyone that wants to Zoom, be on the Zoom list, please just email us and let us know. We'll be thrilled to have our Sangha together. It's a very deep and precious event for us. Thank you.
Does the afternoon session start at 3 again?
Yes. Yes, the afternoon will be 3. I think we'll send the schedule out again so everybody knows. But for today, yes. Yeah, it's at 3. It'll be probably 3 to 4:30. Yeah.
Are you doing one-on-one sessions now, or are you still on sabbatical from that?
I do, but I've been mostly working with, people in the local.
Oh.
I haven't really just put it out.
Okay.
And we're not working.
Okay.
But I'm available for anyone that is looking for support.
I don't know about all of you, but sometimes here, and I guess my polyvagal friends, the people who are helping with the rewiring of the nervous system, say that there's a physiological thing that happens when you just kind of, you really arrive. It's a nice way to make transition from logistical thinking brain, which we need, to, oh yeah, here I am. So sometimes when we speak of this, what we might call ultimate surrender, the relinquishing of personhood and a personal position, a separate idea. The words we use maybe can lead to some anxiety or that fear of uncertainty, the fear of the unknown, or what does that mean? Or it can cause a little bit of a buzz, a stir in the cells in the nervous system. But we can rest in the knowing that, and the faith, as Ani was talking about, the knowing and the faith that the surrender is into and as what we already are. It's a homecoming. It's a homecoming. As Sharon, our beautiful teacher, always says, it's what you've always wanted. So let's just bring our attention to that central channel, however that downloads for you. You can go into the spine, the actual bony structure of the spinal column, and kind of, traverse the attention from the brain down to the tailbone and kind of feel that in the gross anatomy to get an orientation. And then from there, it's just sort of a relaxing out of that gross anatomy, the spine, that beautiful spinal cord, spinal column, brain, and just kind of a deeper sense of what's actually there on a more subtle level, in that head to tail. It could possibly be sensed as a feeling of a kind of arising and descending, arising and descending. Or if you're a visual sort of person, it might light up as a radiant vertical channel, luminous, radiant, effervescent, really. And it's to just, there's no real agenda here other than attending to this actuality that is within and as our bodies and the body of existence. You might even begin to sense it throughout, up, down, front, back, all around, within, without, and even beginning to sort of sense it deeply, even past like the physical body, just as a continuation in that dimension and above as well. And this is the actuality of what we've come to know as our body, our hands and feet and eyes and chest, legs, arms. This is the actuality. And it shines itself as these expressions. It lends, it illuminates, and materializes into these bodies for its delight, enjoyment. And even if we go very, very small scale into the actual cells of the body, within each and every cell and every structure within the cell and every atom within the cell, there is this central channel. It's within the earth and the galaxy and the cosmos. The ground of being as it dances and joyfully expresses itself into existence. The central channel, the great mother, the birther of worlds. And if it starts becoming too like, just go right back to that the bones of the spine. There it is. Expressing and breathing its way into all the subtle channels of our body and the body of the universe. The pulse, the breath of Source. Arising, descending. Arising, descending. It's there in and as all of the great beings, the bodhisattvas and ascended masters, and we can move our attention and the consciousness to and from on this, in this channel. So although it feels and is experienced as a surrender, a letting go of something we think we have, we believe ourselves to be, assume ourselves to be. It is a giving way to that which we are, a homecoming. And we can bring the attention to the center of 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 the spine, or of the brain even, and begin to notice this luminosity as the emanation, the original emanation, original light that stirred the waters of the dark. And so we begin to be able to sense this home ground, even as we live an individuation, an individual expression. In any given moment, we can bring our attention to this arising and descending, this luminous central center, and live from there as that. It begins to feel like an aliveness in all the cells, a cellular celebration, a joyful arising, a joyful aliveness on the surface of the skin and in the seeingness of the eyes and the hearingness of the ears, the touchingness of the hands. And when we look at the apparent other, the world, it is seen, seen as in the expressions as emanations of this luminosity. This originality, this let there be light. So whatever we have discovered during this little meditation here, sense it. This is how that felt. This is where it is. This is, like the sensation. Like we know how drinking a carbonated drink feels. We know that feeling. We know that sensation. Just illuminate that and embody that sense of, okay, so that as we move about our day, go eat lunch, pack up, come into a more focused sort of locality, this sense can be brought to mind of the illuminating, giving central channel of enlivenment, aliveness. And we'll be back here at 1:30 for meditation and 3 o'clock for a session, and enjoy your lunch.